Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining this class, or thank you for viewing, for watching this video. So this afternoon, we are going to be talking about, we are going to continue with the practical session that we started yesterday, and today we are going to be trying out, we are going to be practicing HDFS commands. But before we get into that, I just want to do a quick recap of what we did on Hadoop ecosystem, because this is just that practical introduction. This class is going to be that practical introduction into the Hadoop ecosystem, how to start up HDFS nodes, how to start up the name node, how to start up the data node, how to start Apache Yarn, and so on and so forth. Those are the things we are going to be considering this afternoon. But before that, I want to quickly do a recap of the Hadoop ecosystem that we did last week, Saturday. So last week, Saturday, we talked about the Hadoop ecosystem, and we said the evolution of data has seen the introduction of different type of systems or different type of application to manage the kind of changes that need to be addressed at that particular point in time. So from the point of having velocity, when velocity became an issue, RDBMS, or relational database system, was developed. When unstructured data became a challenge, no SQL platform was developed. And when the volume became the challenge, Hadoop ecosystem was developed, originally implemented by the guys in Yahoo and Google, but then they eventually released it into the market under an open source license. There are three key components of the Hadoop ecosystem. One is the HDFS, and the second one is MapReduce, and the third part is Yarn. Please, I just want to confirm if people at the other side are listening to me. So Ayola, I just want to be sure if you are there. Smiler, can you please just signify that you can hear me? Great. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Okay, so we talked about MapReduce, we talked about HDFS and the Apache Yarn as a core component that provides some basic structure and service to support the core of the Hadoop big data platform. We also said that Hadoop is an ecosystem. It's not just like a piece of software, it's a framework. It's an ecosystem, the same way you have Microsoft Office. So the way you have Microsoft Office, you can Microsoft Office suite consists of a Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Access, and so on and so forth. So all of these components together make up a Microsoft Office. So Microsoft Office is like an ecosystem comprising of different components. So it's Hadoop. Hadoop is a very effective framework for handling big data, and it became more effective when a particular tool that is called Apache Yarn was introduced into the whole ecosystem. So this is a very real life way of you to think about Hadoop ecosystem. So imagine that there's a party somewhere. It's a wedding party. So for that wedding party, but it's a highly organized wedding party. So for that wedding party, you get an invitation to come, and it's happening in a venue that has a lot of parking space. So you left your house, you drove to the venue, and then imagine if there are like security men that will tell you where to park the car and where not to park the car. And each time you park the car, they mark your name against a register to identify that this is the person that is parking at this location. So in such a way that in case you are blocking somebody who parked before you, they can easily give you a call that you should come and remove your car from where you have parked it. And then after you got to the location, you parked your car, you got a tally, then you walked into the venue. You walked into a venue, and when you got into the venue, at the entrance, at the main entrance, there are bouncers who check whether you have an identity card. Yeah, so there are bouncers who check whether you have an identity. No, not an identity card now, whether you have an IV, whether you have a valid IV, and if you are invited to the event. So when they checked and they verified that yes, you are invited to the event, then they now allow you to enter into the venue. So at the venue, then there are ushers who will tell, okay, this is the location where you should go and sit. There's a particular table for you, there's a table number, and there's a seat number that's already reserved for you. You just go there and you get seated. So that is how a framework, that is how the Hadoop ecosystem, that is how it actually works. It's a coordinator, and Yarn is that coordinator that identifies you, or that identifies a job, and that identifies all the resources that are available, and then properly allocates a particular job to the resources that are available in order to get it done. And then it's going to assign CPU time to that job. It's going to assign memory resources to that job. It's going to assign disk space to the job. And once the job is completed, it immediately it's not the one that evacuates the job, but once the job is evacuated from those resources, immediately identify that those resources are available for the next job that is going to take it on. And all of these, they happen very fast. They happen in a split of a second that you as the user of the system would not even get to know what is happening behind the scene. So that is why we said that Hadoop, it's an ecosystem, it's a framework. It is not just a standalone piece of software. So someone may install Hadoop on his PC, and he could just have the core component, which is HDFS, MapReduce, and Yarn. Your HBase may not be installed on that platform. Hive may not be installed. Pig may not be needed. Scoop may not be needed. Zookeeper may not be needed on the platform. So these are some of the things that we spoke about last week. We talked about HDFS. HDFS, we are going to be practicing HDFS commands this afternoon. Yes, this afternoon already. HDFS is that logical location where the file is stored within the Hadoop ecosystem. As I said last week, it allows you to write once at the time of creating the file, and then you can replicate across other nodes that are available within a cluster. It eliminates what is called, HDFS eliminates what is called single source of failure. Yeah, single point of failure. It eliminates what's called single point of failure, because there's a lot of replication. And also from the class that we had last week, HDFS replicates up to like maybe four different times. So it replicates on the same. It replicates on the same commodity server. It replicates on another commodity server, and on another commodity server somewhere else. Then it also replicates on a random node somewhere. Those replication will guarantee data availability. So if it's a node that crashes, your data is still available on another node. If it's a server that crashes, your data is still available on another server. And then, and in most cases, the whole network, the entire network may not really go down just at the same point in time. It's probably a node or a component of the network that will go down. We also talk about the components. We talked about data node and name node. Name node is like that address book. It's like that directory that holds information about what is going into the data node. Why the data node? It's the exact location where the data is actually stored within the Hadoop ecosystem, or within HDFS. Name node is a master. Name node is a master. Master meaning that is the one that directs, okay, store the data in this particular data node, and then it records the location where it is stored. So it's like a master. If the name node is not available, then the whole HDFS cluster is going to be down, because of course if the guy that knows where a particular data is stored, if we can no longer reference it, it means that the node or the whole framework is completely not available. So in order to guard against the failure of name node itself is also replicated across the cluster. So there's a replication of the name node so that it does not fail. So name node, HDFS works by breaking a large file into smaller blocks, and those blocks are stored in what is called the data node, and it's the data node that now holds the actual data, or the actual data file that is needed. While name node, it's critical for the operation. As I said earlier on, it's like the address book. It holds information about where the data is stored. As it's written here, it's like a traffic cop. And with the event example that I gave, name node, it's like a traffic cop that directs the data go to this location. And when you want to retrieve the data, it tells you this is where you can find the data that is stored on any of the data nodes. There is constant interaction between the data nodes and the name node. And why that is required is that whenever a name node is not interacting, whenever a name node is not interacting with a data node, then the name node will know that the data node is already down, so that it will quickly find an alternative for that name node that is down. Name node is also replicated in order to avoid a single point of failure. So as I said, today we are going to be practicing HDFS command. And HDFS command, those commands, they are a little bit like they're a little bit like, not a little bit, they are like Linux commands. So it's good you master how to run Linux command, and that was why we took time yesterday to quickly do Linux command, so that you can simply master how to run Linux command. So this afternoon we are going to be practicing the HDFS commands, and that is on the page 15. Yeah, or on the page 15 of your material. So again, my what is it called now? My virtual learning environment is on. This is a virtual machine on my personal computer. And the way virtual machine works is it abstracts, the physical layer from the application that is running. So in such a way that you can have multiple virtual machines on a particular physical system, and multiple people can get connected to that physical layer. That abstraction makes it easy to divide job across the different virtual machines and then get it executed very, very, very fast. So so if you have your material, just quickly turn on to page 16 of the analyst textbook. On to page 16 of the analyst textbook, and page 16 of the big data engineering book. So today we are going to be looking at the Hadoop file system, which is a key component. HDFS, which is a key component, is one of the 3 primary components of Hadoop framework. Titi, I want to ask, what are those 3 key components of Hadoop framework? And negotiator. Correct. So HDFS is one of the 3 key components of Hadoop ecosystem. So in this particular lab, we'll be practicing the HDFS command. how do you start HDFS command? This stuff is very, very, as simple as it is, it's very, very important. So I was running a project, we're having a project in, that was like 2017, 2018. So we're running a project with Intel. Intel is Natcom. Of course, some of you guys use Intel network. So we're supporting them in terms of data analytics then. And we installed Oracle. We installed Oracle on a Unix environment. Yes, we had Oracle on Unix environment. And we brought this engineer, but that engineer, she was an expert in a Windows environment. So she was not very conversant with Linux environment. So at times, the Oracle server will just go down, and it's just maybe one of the components. Maybe that's what they call Oracle listener. That listener is what facilitates connection to the Oracle database, you know. So when the listener goes down, that lady didn't know how to troubleshoot, how to know that, okay, at times she will try the system, she will go to the server, she will say that the database is up for the listener, but she cannot connect from her own PC to the database. So I want you to get that issue now. The server is up, it's running. If she logs into the server, she can access the data. But when she tries to connect her own computer to the server, it fails. And why that failure is that there's a component on Oracle database that is called Oracle Listener. It listens to connection from other users. And when you see that there's another user that wants to connect, then it facilitates that connection. So whenever the listener is down, you simply cannot connect to the Oracle database. So the same way in this Hadoop framework, it's good to know when name node, how to start name node, how to shut down name node, because if one of the nodes are down, you may probably not be able to do much. We've already said that name node is very critical. So what it means is that if name node is down, you'll probably not be able to access the data until when name node is restarted. So we are going to be learning how to start and how to shut down the name node and data node. We are going to learn how to switch on and off what is called safe mode. And why safe mode is important is that at times maintenance may be required, and when maintenance is required, you just want the data to be available for people who want to access the data, but they will not be able to modify the data. They will not be able to update the data at that particular point in time. So you can switch into name node in such a way that the application is going to be up, but no modification will be allowed at that point. Then we also run some other command, like some of the command that we ran yesterday, how to copy files, how to create directory on HDFS. Remember, we said HDFS, we said Hadoop is a framework, and HDFS is a file system on Hadoop. So, like yesterday, we logged into the root partition. This was the root partition that we logged into. So slash here is the root partition. It's a file system, but it's a physical file system on my computer. There it's home /HD user. This is another file system. This is another file system, but this is Unix or Linux file system on my computer. This is a physical location on my computer. There was desktop. Desktop is a file system on my computer. Then we also created airport. Okay, not on this computer. The computer I used yesterday is not here. We also created airport. Airport is also a file system on this particular computer, you know, or on the computer that we use yesterday. That is a file system. It's a physical file system. But Hadoop is a file system too. You need to understand Hadoop is a file system too, but it's a logical file system, you know. So how do you start, how do you copy files from a physical file system to a logical file system? Those are some of the things that we'll be looking at today. Restart your computer. So those are the things that we are going to be looking at today. How to move from a physical file system to a logical file system. How to display the content of a particular file system, how to delete the content of a particular file system, how to move files, we've talked about that, and help command. So essentially, it's like an adaptation, is a Hadoop adaptation of those things that we did yesterday that we are going to be doing this afternoon. I want to welcome Titi to the class. I also want to welcome Mosazua to the class. So at the other end, you have Ayola and Samaila. This time last week, it was I and Samaila that were together in Abuja. This time this week, it's three of us that are here in the class. Maybe next week again, it's going to be in Abuja again. So just keep moving, you know. So I'll just do a quick recap of some of those things that we did yesterday. So yesterday we did how to change directory. So how do you move from a particular directory to another directory? We did that yesterday. We are going to be doing that today in the Hadoop environment. We had to find the file. I left that to you to just try that out. The commands are there in your book. Then also how to check the content of a file. Yes, how to check the content of a file. We did that yesterday, and we are going to be trying that today in this class. Then we did how to change the permission rights. We spent a lot of time looking at how to change the permission rights of a particular file, and how to change the owner of a file, how to copy files from one location to the other. We tried that yesterday. One thing we did not do is how to kill a process. You can kill a process. So which means that if, for instance, say Hadoop is hanging, there can be deadlock, or the system is just frozen and it's not responding to you. You can kill the process so that you can easily restart it. We also tried that in Hadoop today. How to list the content of a directory, we did that yesterday. How to make directory, we did that yesterday. So today, this afternoon, let's simply start with starting the Hadoop. Let's start with starting HDFS. How do you start HDFS? Simple, very simple command. So you log in. So I just want to start afresh so that I can carry everybody along. So I'll power off this particular instance on my PC, and then I'll start it all over again. The system has to shut down properly. If it does not shut down properly, it may not start. It may not start again properly. It may force you to restart your computer if the Hadoop does not shut down properly. So there is this icon. Yours is not opening. Restart your computer. Restart your PC. Yeah. So if you don't shut it down properly, the instance will still be running in the background. So you might need to restart that computer so that everything can just go off. So this is VMware. This is VMware. It's the tool for virtualization. So you double click on VMware, and once you double click on VMware, it brings up the VMware application. So this is the image. This is the image for the virtual class, or this is the virtual environment. So I'm starting the virtual environment, and it's launching. What this simply means is that another computer is starting on my computer. That is simply what it means. Yeah. So it's asking me to log in. The username is HD user, the password is HD user. So I'm logging in. Okay, so this is my desktop environment. This is my desktop environment, and I'm going to make that visible to the guys over there. Okay, so now for this set of command, just like we did yesterday, I need terminal. So I'm launching terminal, and I want to zoom my screen so that whatever I type on the screen can be visible to you all. I'm zooming in, and I zoom in, yeah, and I'm zooming in one more time. So this is what you have. I hope everybody's on this page. Are you on this page? Oh, okay, yours is coming up. Ayola, how is it? Is it coming up over there? Okay, you are there.
It's up. It's up.
Okay, great. So Smiler, it's going to, of course, I know I'm also planning to have this properly set up on his PC. Yeah. So this is what we have. Tunde, welcome on board. So to start the name node, the command is start. The command is start minor dash dfs.sh. So this is the command for starting the name node. It's something that we've done it before you came in. So we did a recap, not even just for yesterday, we did a recap of some of those things that we did last week. But again, I think we along the line, we'll also be mentioning some of those things we did yesterday. So just bear with us. You are not going to, you have missed some things, but I think you still grab the essence of this class. The RAM, so your PC may be slow if the RAM is low. If the RAM is low, what is the RAM of your PC? Okay, so the RAM of this computer, it's we can quickly check what that is. The RAM size for this PC is this is 16 gigabytes. This is 16 gigabytes. I realized that it's faster. The more the RAM, the faster it is. You know, because VMware is actually resource intensive. Like it consumes a lot of resources. So the command to start to start name node, remember, and the command to start name node and data node is start dfs.sh. You know, so that's page 16. I'm on page 16. So you can see, you can see on the screen, it's saying it's starting name node on localhost, and then it's starting a secondary name node on localhost. So this is a primary name node, and there's a secondary name node that is also starting on this particular address. So if the cluster has been built, this address is going to be the IP address of another computer. But in this case, the secondary name node is starting on the same computer actually, you know. But as we proceed, for those that are going through the engineering track, you see a different way of configuring this without necessarily having everything on the same physical computer. But name node is starting on the local host. Local host is this virtual machine that you have on your PC, and the secondary name node is also starting on this virtual machine you have on your PC. And why this is important, we said why there should be a secondary name node is because if the primary name node fails, the secondary name node is going to be like a failover, and that will help to guard against single points of failure. So yes, that is the command to start this. It looks simple, but you just need to know. You just need to know it. You need to be aware of some things, where the primary node is starting from and where the secondary node is starting from. If it's a cluster, it's because we are using this physical computer to practice. If we're using a real cluster to practice, what that means is connecting this computer with your computer with those computer, we can form a cluster like a 3-node or a 4-node cluster with it, with that. And we have all the nodes, the HDFS installed on those 3 machines. If you are starting the node, the primary node may be starting on the primary server, and the secondary node may be starting on one of those other server that is within the network. So that's very, very important. So which means that if one of these server goes down, the server that is up can continue operating without bringing down the data service. Okay, so
indicate 0.0.0, to indicate
the IP address. Yes, it will indicate the IP address, so you know exact computer that is serving as a secondary, that is serving as a secondary node. Okay, so yes, and for those that have not met Olivia before, that is Olivia on the corridor. You guys that only talk to Olivia on email. Yeah, that is she. Okay, so then JPS. So if you want to know, there is a command that is called JPS. So this JPS will highlight all the services that are currently running, all the Hadoop services that are currently running, and the service ID or the process ID. So what this is saying is the primary name node is 3350. Yeah, the primary node is 3350. The secondary node is 3686. The data node that is running on this machine is 3475. Let me check it for you. No, it's done. It's done. It's completed. Look at it. Here is this is secondary node is started. Then the primary node is also started.
I'm talking about those numbers.
It's JPS. The command to identify the node. This node is JPS. So why this is important is, in case you want to restart any of these services, you may want to kill a service that is currently running so that you can restart it. So this is the process ID, and this is the process that is running on this particular process ID. So if you want to kill it, the command is kill, then the service ID. If you look at page, where is it? It's somewhere here. Yeah, if you look at page 11 of your material, terminating a process, page 11 of your material, terminating a process. If you want to find a process that is running, and if you want to kill a process that is running, first of all, you need to know what is the process ID on which that process is running on. You understand? So the command to know the process ID is JPS. You understand? So once you identify the process ID, then you can use the command kill/-9 to then identify the process ID in order to kill the process. You know. So at times you want to restart without really shutting down the computer. The same way we go to task manager. So what that means, let me explain what that means. So you go to task manager, and when you come to task manager, you just go to more details. How is that done? You go to task manager, you right click and you say end task. You understand? This is how it is done on Windows. So in Linux, Linux does not give you, well, in some cases you may have some flavor of Linux that have all of those click stuff. but you need to know what you are really doing. You are an expert now. So this end task is like kill a particular process that is running. So instead of you clicking it in Linux, what you are doing is that you write a command in order to be able to do that. So say we want to kill name nodes now. If you want to kill name node, which is very dangerous, but let's just kill name nodes. If you want to kill name node, it's running on 3350. It's running on 3350, you press enter. Once you do that, the primary name node is no longer running. So let's see what is running. JPS. So
sorry, sir, let me ask. Your code and my code may not be the same, right?
Yeah, it does. No, it's, of course. It's not going to be the same. The process ID, your process ID and my process ID need not to be the same. So now you can see the primary name node is not running. It's just the secondary name node that is running, and one of the data nodes and GPS that is running. So you can see that we've gone back to what we learned yesterday, and then with some other stuff from today's class. So it's very important you are able to relate the two together. Then what else? And no problem, you haven't really missed so much. Okay. Your laptop got stuck, so you couldn't practice. Yeah, it's going to open. Okay, so
Let me clarify something.
Please go on.
Is this a Hadoop software or a Ubuntu or a Linux? I don't know how to separate them. Just
Yeah, Hadoop is a framework.
Okay, so there are many things that are happening here. Hadoop is here, Linux is here, and Windows is here. So it's a lot of things. So, and what made that possible is virtualization, first of all. So understand about virtualization. So let me explain the question. So for the people that are on the other side, let me re-echo your question. So you're asking, is this Linux, or is it Hadoop, or is it Ubuntu? What exactly is this virtual learning environment? That's what you're asking. Okay, so let me take time to break that down. So this is my computer. It's Windows. Then there is this tool. This tool is called VMware. So VMware is a virtualization tool. So because virtualization.
Sorry. Can I ask a question?
Please go on, please.
Must you use the firmware where, or you can use the Oracle, any of the other stuff?
So yeah, there is also Oracle VM machine. There's also Oracle VM machine. Any VM machine that is compatible with the image that you are provided with. You know, some of them, they save the file, they create the image in their own format. Some of them have a particular image that is native to their own application. You understand? So so it's like, how do I say it? You can store, it's like Microsoft Word. You can store something in Microsoft Word and use another application that is not Microsoft Word to open it, or Adobe Reader. You can have a PDF document and you don't necessarily use Adobe to open it. You can use a browser to open an Adobe document. You know, it's not really the Adobe application you're using to open PDF. If it's the same format, then to be able to open it. But if it does not recognize that format, it may not be able to open it. So if Oracle VMware application can recognize it, then to be able to open it.
Okay.
You said? Okay. Okay. Thanks. So this is my Windows application. I have VMware Workstation, which is the application that I'm using. I have it here. It could be something else, but it's recommended. Even this particular version that we are using, it's recommended that we should not upgrade it, because when you upgrade it, it may scatter what you have already configured on your computer in a way that your virtual environment will no longer be loading. So it's not recommended that you should update it. So we are using VMware application version 12. So when you launch this VMware application, when you launch it, this is the launch environment. You have a virtual machine application. You have a virtual machine application here, which you can open. So now you can see what is happening. If this virtual take ownership to obtain it, otherwise press cancel to avoid damaging. Okay, so the fact is that is because that particular virtual machine is currently in operation. That is why it brought out that message, just to inform me that it's currently in operation. So it's telling me that on this computer, this virtual machine is already launched here. So if I have multiple images, say I can have up to 5 images, and I can launch all of those 5 images on this computer. So it's like having, this is another computer on my physical layer. Those other images are other computers on this physical layer. So it's possible for you to have all of that. And the essence of that is that that can help you to distribute your job across all the different pieces. So now in this case, so we launch the virtual machine. So once we launch it, then this comes up, this environment comes up. What comes up here is Ubuntu, is Linux operating system that comes up. It's on that Linux operating system that the Hadoop framework or the Hadoop application, the HDFS application, the MapReduce application, the Yarn application, is on this Hadoop framework that they are all installed on. You understand? So it's installed on this particular application. Another way I try to say it is that Hadoop is like an operating system for data itself. It's an operating system for data, but it needs an operating system to run. You need the normal operating system that we know, like Windows or Linux or Ubuntu, for it to run. Yeah. So what we have done before now, we started the Hadoop file system, and the command is start dfs.sh. This is the command. This is the command to start Hadoop file system, and this is the command to stop Hadoop file system. Stop. No, not this. This is the command to stop Hadoop file system. So if Hadoop is running on the computer, to shut it down properly, this is the command. That is a command to run. And then if a process, if you want to know all the Hadoop processes that are running on a particular computer, JPS is the command to run in order to identify all the Hadoop processes, or all the processes, whether Hadoop or not, that is running on that particular computer. So again, I'm starting my Hadoop file system so that it can run. Then this can exist in what is called a safe mode. And we say it exists in a safe mode. It's at times you want to perform operations without necessarily shutting down. So if you need to perform operation without shutting down, the data is going to be available for people who want to read the data, who just want to access the data. But at that point, nobody will be able to write to that environment. Nobody will be able to delete or modify what is already existing in that environment. But at least you'll be able to access what is in that environment. So you can run this command hdfs. I need to clear my screen. Clear. Yeah, so the command to check whether you are in safe mode or not is hdfs admin dfs admin. Sorry, I'm using a new computer, so I'm just learning to use this new PC. dfs admin safe mode get. So this is a command to use to check if the computer is in a safe mode or not. So this will tell you if the Hadoop environment is in the safe mode, but and it returns this message that safe mode is off. That safe mode is off. That means safe mode is not on. And yeah. Dash safe mode get. Do you have an error message? It went through. It might have loaded. Oh yeah. So yours is taking a while. No, it's still. So mine is responding like immediately. Yours is taking a while to respond. Yes. So why is that? I have my PC. I have more resources. Okay, did my specification on my PC? Let me just bring it up for you to see. So here's it. Here's it. Here's my spec. It's 16 gig RAM. 16 gig RAM. It's a dual core processor. It's i7. It's i7. It's i7. It's a dual processor and 2 gigahertz. So the processor speed is quite good. The RAM speed is also very good. So these are the two things that I look at when I want to buy a computer. I look at the processor speed. This is telling the processor speed, and this is telling the RAM size. Those are two things I look at. I'm sure. Check yours. Let me see what yours is. Yours is 8 gig. Okay, you can see. And yours is yeah. So that I can see my command is I just run that command and then it returns the result almost immediately. Okay, so you're saying it's not responding. So what about you?
I'm thinking this. Mine is done already.
Yours is done already.
Safe mode is off.
Safe mode is off. Okay, correct. Yeah, so the application can actually be too big for the specification of your PC. Yeah, but really, the more resources you can actually upgrade your PC. You can upgrade the PC to be able to support those commands faster. You know. Okay, so there is something they call environment variables. So see, when we run this command, you see some errors here. It throws some error message. Unable to load native coder. Unable to load native Hadoop library for your platform is using built-in classes where applicable. So what exactly does this mean? I need a way to explain this thing so that I will not sound too technical. Okay. So now, in operating systems, like maybe Windows operating system, Linux operating system, there's something they call environment variable. And what it means is, it's just like it's just like okay, so I'll give you a very good example. So if road safety has like a compilation of all the driving codes in Nigeria, they have a compilation of all the driving codes in Nigeria where if you see a red sign with a plus on it, a white plus on it, maybe you are approaching a hospital. If you see a road sign that has bump, that means you are approaching somewhere that has bump, has a code like that, like a handbook like that. So the same way, an application can have its own set of codes. An application can have its own set of codes, you know, that are grouped together in a particular location. So anytime you run any of those codes, it will know what you want to execute. You know, it will know what you want to execute. Those things are called environment variables. So when you group it together in a location, it's called environment variables. They also exist in Windows, they exist in Linux. So now look at this error message. So we ran a command, we ran this command. So it now said that it's unable to load the native Hadoop library. So that handbook is like a library for road safety. The same way there's a library in Linux or in application which has a set of commands that you can run to perform a particular operation. So when we ran this command, it said that it could not find this command in unable to load native Hadoop library for your platform. It says so unable to load it, it's not able to find it. So what it's now doing, it's now using the built one. There are some built-in Hadoop function in Ubuntu operating system. That is now the one that it's using to execute this command. Can you understand? And why it cannot find this is that we need to explicitly tell it where to find those libraries, those set of functions. I don't know whether I sound too technical or whether I try to break that down. But you know I understand the composition of people in this class, so I need to make sure that I'm not too technical. So now that's what they call library. So when you hear, and you are going to be encountering a lot of library, at least in this class, in your workbook from the beginning to the end, at least there is more than like 100-word library in this particular workbook alone. So when they say library, what they're actually referencing is, or what they're making reference to is a group of commands that perform a particular function. Even you can write your own library. You understand? So when you write your own library, it means that you write codes that perform a particular function, you now group them together and save them in a folder. So anytime you want to perform a particular function, you just need to reference that library and call that function and get the job done. So now in this case, why it's throwing this error is because we have not specified the folder or the library that has this command. So it's using the built-in functions. So now we need to specify that. And for us to specify it, there's a long command that we need to write in order to specify those library. And that command is you can find that on page 18 of your material. Hadoop. You can see Hadoop OPTS, Hadoop operations. For Hadoop operations is equal to d java dot library. So this is the Java library that hosts Hadoop operations dot path. The path where you are going to find it is equal to user local Hadoop library native. So after running this command, if I go back up here and run this command to get whether my computer, whether Hadoop is running on safe mode or not, it's not going to run this error. This error is not going to come up again because I have specified the path to the library. I've set the environment variables, or I've set the path to the library to where you can find the library that has all of those ADFS commands. Note that if you make one small mistake, maybe where you are supposed to have a capital letter, you want to type a small letter, it will return an error message. So you can see it ran this command without this error message again, because now it's now able to load the native Hadoop library for my platform without using the built-in Java classes where applicable. So some of these error messages, they are just guides. They are guides for us to.
It's not me. Oh, it's not me.
You might have to follow the screen. Yeah, so or you restart your computer. Yes. So force it to restart. You might need to press this restart button. Yeah. So when you set this, it's going to be able to find all those library functions that you need to execute. So what this means is that there are times that you run some commands on your computer and those commands are not working. It may not necessarily mean that those commands cannot work. It might mean that you might need to specify the environment variable. You need to specify the class path. You need to specify the path to where the application can find those commands that you want to run. They sacked one of my senior engineers when I was working in Huawei just because he did not understand this thing. Yes, we were setting up SpectraNet network. SpectraNet. Some of you browse on SpectraNet. I was part of the team that set up that SpectraNet network. So then I was working on the project in Kano. He was working on the SpectraNet project, and he was stuck for like 3 months. He was stuck for 3 months, The project was not moving forward. Whenever they asked him, where are you? It's the same report that he gave last time that he's giving again, And why he could not move forward was because he could not complete one installation. They could not complete one installation. So this Chinese guy just came in. He just came in to check, okay, you've been on this, and you've been giving us excuses that the software is not working. He just came, he just checked. He just ran some few commands. He just saw that, the environment variable needs to be set. He just set the environment variable, the Java environment variable for that particular application. After setting it, what was not working for like 3 months just started working. They had to sack that guy, and they now asked him to replace him on that project. So there's a lot to know. There's a lot to know at the same time. Sure, you understand. I don't think this class would be enough for you to really master everything. Your own effort is required for you to be able to fully master everything that needs to be mastered. And that requires you practicing again and again, getting error messages, and then seeking for help in order to solve those error messages. So by that, you'll be able to properly master it.
Why the verification? There's a backslash after the native, but it's not in the book.
This one, it's not. So this slash is this slash is optional. It's optional. If I did not put it there, it's still going to work. There's it. It's still going to work. This particular slash after, if you have a folder If you have a folder name and you put a slash in front of it, or if you don't put a slash in front of it, it's still going to work. But it's the beginning slash, is this beginning slash that is very, very, this one means something else. Why this one means something else too.
It's like closing the address.
So I'll show you.
It's like they don't find unknown during class HDFS.
You ran this, could not find this. So I do it. Check if you missed something. Yeah, it's working. It's working. It's working. So run this. So there's error here. ADFS, DFS, is DFS admin, not the DFS admin. Yes, so if you miss one character, it's going to throw an error. Okay, so I'm sorry guys over there. We are also running, so I'm moving around and I'm checking how people are running those commands on their PC. So when they send an error message, I try to help them to fix it. So if you also have issues over there, I can allow you to share your screen. You can share your screen so that we can help you to troubleshoot it together. So don't feel isolated, you know, let the class be interactive. You can also try what we are doing here over there, so that if you have any issue, we just ask you to share your screen so that we can quickly solve it together and we can all learn together. Okay, so from time to time, you encounter that something like unable to load a library. You know, anytime you discover anything like unable to load a library, what it simply means is that the class path needs to be set, that it needs the address to where it will find all of those commands, you know. So, okay, let me explain it in a different way. Yesterday, we did VI. Yesterday we ran VI command. Is my PC working? Yes. Yesterday we ran VI command. Yesterday we ran man command. Yesterday we ran different commands yesterday. Now these commands they belong to a particular library, and that library is somewhere. So each time you run this command, you can go and reference that library and know the meaning of that command and execute whatever function that needs to be performed. Whenever it cannot find the library for any command, it's just going to give you an error message. Sure you get. So it's very, very important. So let's say, let's just do command like man_u. There's nothing like that. Man_u, let's say blessing, for instance. Let's see the error message. You're saying that command. Yeah, so this command that I wrote, no command this found. Did you mean, so it's even helping me to ask, do I mean manna or do I mean man from the package? So do I mean manna from the package manna in this universe, or do I mean man from package man_db, which is in the main library? So this one is in universe library, this one is in main library. So it's asking me that there's something like man_u, that is this the command that I intend to run. So that is the way it simply helps. So let's look at some other file system commands. So some other Hadoop file system commands. And when you say file system command, like making directory, copying files from one directory to another directory. Let's look at how all of that, how it works in Hadoop. So let's first of all look at how to list the content of a Hadoop directory. You know, how to list the content of a Hadoop directory. So if I want to list the content of my desktop, if I want to list the content of my desktop, if I want to list the content of my desktop, what is the command that I will need to run? I'm asking.
We can't hear you.
No, I'm asking a question. So I've not had the answer to my question. If I want to list the content of my desktop, for instance, I want to know all the files and the folders that are on my desktop. We did this yesterday. What is the command that I need to run to know all the content of my desktop? That is the question that I'm asking.
LS, I think.
Thank you. LS. Thank you. Yeah, I have like 2 or 3 people that got that. LS is the command. So what is my present working directory? So if I want to know my present working directory, what do I type? PWD is what I type. So my present working directory is not the desktop. So I want to navigate to desktop. What command do I run to navigate to my desktop? CD. Okay, so I can do CD desktop. Yes. So now I'm on the desktop. My present working directory is desktop. So if I want to list the content of my desktop, ls minus al. So this means there's nothing on my desktop. The word this is showing that there's nothing on my desktop. There's nothing on my desktop. So my desktop is simply blank. So I want to quickly create a directory as we did yesterday. I created airport yesterday. So I want to make directory, and that directory is airport. So now I'm.
Is there no such file or directory? I did CD desktop. I didn't get it.
We did CD desktop. From which location?
No, I used lowercase. I'm sorry.
Okay, so now I've created a directory ls minus al. So now I have airport on the desktop. I also want to create a file. I want to create a file that has the list of all the airlines, you know, as we did yesterday. I'll do vi airlines.txt, enter. Then I'll press I.
What is replicate itself on our system? But I already have airports showing on my.
So it will not replicate. Maybe create another thing. Create something else. Don't create airport. Yes, create something else if you need to create, and you can create airport too. Yes, vi is make directory is to create a folder. I want to create a new file. So I've typed vi, then I'll press I on my keyboard to enter insert mode. Now I'll start inserting the airlines. ARIC.
A normal folder that we have.
Yes.
I can open on my desktop.
Yes. Yes.
What I store inside my is the file.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. So ARIC. Bellevue. What is the name of that Octave Analysis airline again? Octagon. Yeah, Octagon is the name of our own fleet of private jets. What is that one again? First Nation. That one has gone moribund. There is Changi Airline. Soliso. Air Peace.
So inside our folder airport, right, is where we have the airline.
Yeah. So now I'm creating airline on the desktop. The next thing I now want to do is to now move it or copy it from desktop into airline folder, or copy it into airport folder by the time I finish creating it. So I'm just taking it one step at a time. Then one more, Max Air. There's one that has a funny name. It's called Asman. I call it Jazzman. So so these are the list of airlines that I can remember. Then I'll press escape on my keyboard to exit insert mode. Then to save it, what do I need to type? Colon what? WQ. That is what I need to save it. Yes. So if I now want to, now if I do ls minus al again on my desktop, I have airline.txt and I have airports, a folder on my desktop. I can use man. I can use cat command, cat airline to read the content of this file that I've created. So it listed the content of the file that I've created. Now the next thing I want to do is that I want to move this file. I want to move this file, airline.txt. I want to move it into airport. Move is not copy. Copy means that a copy of it will still be in the original location. But if I'm moving it, it's no longer going to be there. The command to move it, if you check your textbook, is it there? Move file, yes. That is page 12, item number 13. To move is MV. What do I want to move? I want to move airline. I want to move it into airport. I want to move it into airport. I want to move it into airport. Titi asked me a question the other time that I should look at this slash. Now, if I remove it, is it going to work? You know, because this is a folder. If I put it, it will work. If I remove it, is it going to work? Because it's the folder. So it's actually optional to have that there. So once I press enter, if you do ls minus al, when I did ls minus al up here, the result was airport, airline. This is the parent directory. This is the parent directory. This is the current directory. So when I run it again now, I have moved airline into airport. So airline is no longer going to be there. Enter. So you can see airline is no longer going to be there. But if I log in into airport, the airline that I created will now be inside airport. So it is the normal thing that you do every day when you copy file from one location, but this time around, you are using command to run it. And why this is important is that you can create a set of commands that will do almost everything that you are going to be doing. If there's a repetitive task you want to be doing on your computer, so you can create a set of commands that will be doing that operation for you. So we have a client. That client said that, blessing, in all of my branches every day, I want you to send the net balance. The net balance is that in a branch, how much money came to that branch, how much money was withdrawn from that branch. So at the end of the day, you have what is called net balance. I want you to send the net balance of all of my branches to all of the branch heads every morning. Sure, you understand? We need to automate that process. So the first thing that we'll do is that we'll run a script that will go and compute the net balance. After computing the net balance, we write that into a file. After writing it into a file, we'll now run another command that will pick each of those files and now send those files to the different branch heads. So, of course, it is all of these commands that we have written into our script. We don't have to go there, we'll now automate it. So we don't have to go there every day to be running all of this set of scripts. And even if you want to be running it every day, you just write the whole list of commands. You write it into a single file and hand it over to an analyst. Then you can focus on something else. Every day, that person will just run that set of commands. The thing will go and pick the data, write it into a file, send the file to the different branches. The person doesn't need to every day now sit down and be sending one by one to like maybe 500 different branches in that bank that we support. So that is why this is very, very important. So that is what we have simply, that's what we've simply done. Another use case that we had with Intel. So Intel, every day they had customer recharge. They had what they call voice CDR. Customer will make calls. Customer will do SMS session. Customer will generate data session. So what their IT guys did was that they automated the process in such a way that it will go to where you have all of those CDRs, copy the data, and post that data to our own server. It will post that data to our own server. When you post it to our own server, our own application will just pick that file, read the content of that file, and store it into a database. So it's all of these simple things that we are doing that add up to all of those type of operations. Please go on. This is your guide. This is your guide first of all. So when you have error, when you encounter any error message, then give me a call. But this is that guide that you need, you know. But apart from that, everything is also on YouTube. At least you'll be able to find somebody who has recorded this session on it. And I'm also recording this class. I recorded yesterday's class. We'll be recording all the classes. We can also share that video with you for you to be able to follow this. Then if you need additional resources or additional guide, if you go to YouTube, you'll definitely find on YouTube.
When I move into the folder now, I still use the ls.
Yes.
-al.
Yes.
Yes. How do I know it's inside the folder?
So okay, so let's navigate. CD airport. So let's move into airport and do ls -al in airport. So you now see that airline.txt is now inside airport. I navigated CD airport. I navigated from desktop. I changed my directory from desktop into airport. So now that I'm in airport and I did ls -al in airport, so I now have airline. You've not moved. Have you moved this?
Yes, I've moved it.
Where's the command you used to move
it?
Okay, no. You move it to airport 2, not airport 1. Yeah, you move it to airport 2.
Yes, airport 2.
LS. CD. I'll show you the mistake.
Okay.
LS. CD. Airport. So where did you move it to? You move this to airport, then
So this is the correct one. This gave me an error, but this is the correct one.
okay, this is the correct one. So, but it came back with an error message. No such file or no. Let's go back to desktop. If you go to desktop, it's not moved yet. LS. See, airline is still on the desktop. It's not moved yet.
Okay.
So move it. Yeah, you've not moved it yet. So, yeah. So you want to move it, clear. So this is the command to move it. Just make sure you don't make a mistake with space. Don't make a mistake with space. But that is the command to move it. The next thing I want us to look at is So what we've just done now is like a recap of what we did yesterday. Sure, you understand? So some of those stuff we did now, move, copy, stuff like that, is like a recap of what we did yesterday. So now we want to now go into, have you moved it?
Just showing me airport to, I moved it, it didn't give any error message. So I told it to list what I have inside the file.
So you moved it correctly this time around.
Okay, but how do I know it's the airline?
Go into the folder where you moved it to. CD into the folder where you moved it into. Yeah. Okay, so what we are going to be doing is we are going to be running Hadoop file system commands. Hadoop file system commands. The only thing we've done on Hadoop file system is that we've only started it and we've shut it down and we've set the environment variable. Have you seen it?
No such file or directory.
Okay, so the set of commands that we'll be looking at now will be the Hadoop file system commands. This, you moved it into airport 2. So you CD into airport 2. Then you now do ls minus al. When you find your file there.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have everybody in the class? Let me see if I have lost some people over there. Tunde, please, are we on the same page or I have lost you?
Struggling to follow. So
I've lost you. Okay, so can you share your screen? Can you share your screen first of all? Share your screen.
No, I'm checking this on my phone.
Oh, okay. So it would be easier if you were practicing it. It would be a lot easier if you were practicing it. So let me go to Ayola. Ayola, can you share? Have I lost you? First of all, I want to find out.
No, we're on the same page.
Okay, thanks a lot. Smile, I know you're also probably using your phone or you don't have the virtual environment set up. I have promised makeup classes. So I'm going to be having some makeup classes for people that have one issue or the other with those things that we have already taught. I think once we finish this session, it's another person that is going to take the classes by the time we finish this particular session. So I'll make sure that the foundation is solid for everybody that went through this with me. So I'll make sure that makeup class is set. So let's go to the Hadoop file system command itself. So now we have listed the content of a directory on Ubuntu or on Linux. We've listed it and you can see what is there. Now, what if you want to list the content of Hadoop file system? Remember, I said that Hadoop file system is a logical location where the file is stored. Sure, you get it's a logical location where the file is stored. So, which means that you might want to check on that file system. What is in that file system at any particular point in time? So, the command to do that is just very simple. Clear. The command to do that is hdfs DFS. So if you want to run any Hadoop command, first of all, hdfs DFS is what will start that command that you want to run. hdfs DFS, it's what will precede any command that you want to run at any particular point in time. Correct. No, don't run it too. Just type hdfs DFS. It's what will precede. So now, here's my Windows computer. On this my Windows computer, these are like locations. There is desktop location, there is download location, there is document, there is picture, there is whatever, you know, there are this location. Then the root location, this is the root location, C drive. C drive is my root location. Everything that is on my computer, on this computer, all of them are sitting on this particular C drive. Everything is sitting on this C drive. So even what I have on the desktop, so this C drive is like the root directory. This C drive is synonymous to the root directory in Linux or in Unix or Ubuntu that we are using. The same way, if Hadoop has a file system, it's also going to have its own root drive. So let's go and see what is the content of that Hadoop root drive. Let's go and see what is the content of it. So to know the content of that root drive is listing, you know, it's listing. So if I want to know the content of my Windows root drive, I'll just double click on it. Once I double click on it, it will just show me, okay, I have this folder, I have this folder, I have this folder, I have these 6 folders in it. I can also come here and do cmd. CMD, where is it? C command prompt. Yeah, I can do command prompt. I do cd dot dot, cd dot dot, and I do that ls minus al that we do. If I do dir, yes, that is the equivalence in Windows. This is the equivalence in Linux. In Linux, the equivalence in Linux is ls minus /l, for instance. It will just tell me, so this is list the content in this particular directory. Sure, you understand? List the content of this root directory, so it has listed it. I can do ls minus al root directory. It's the same thing that it will list, but this time around it will list it this way. You know, it's the same command, it's just listing everything this way. So the same way, if I want to do it for Hadoop, if I want to do it for Hadoop's root directory, it's hdfs, dfs, then ls, that is it. There is dash. So this is it. So this is saying that this command is Hadoop command. So it will go to Hadoop library to go and look for, it's go to the Hadoop library to go and look for this set of commands that I want to run on my Hadoop ecosystem or my Hadoop framework. So this saying this is a Hadoop command, and I want to list the content of the Hadoop directory. So once I press enter, the result is displayed. So these are the stuff that I have on my Hadoop directory. I have HBase, I have home, I have TMP, and I have user. There's no yet. There's no hive there yet. It does not mean you can always bring it there, but there's no hive there yet. Okay, so if I want to list, you can't see anything. Correct. Yes, this is correct. Hold on, let's see. Oh, no. So, okay. So his own is not running. Osaze's own is not running. And he's saying that it's unable to load native library for your platform. So it's unable to load the native library for your platform. It's using the built-in Java classes where applicable, but still it will not return the results. So what he's saying is that you need to set that environment variable. This stuff that we ran, you need to do this. This command that we ran. So why yours is not running is that you've not set the environment variables. So this command that we ran, you need to run this command. You need to run this command for all of this to function well. You need to run this command. You have it in your page there. Okay, so Yeah, you need.
Just crafting.
So you may also want to list the content of a directory recursively. When they say listing a content recursively, you are not just checking. So when we did this, this is just checking what is on the root directory. You may want to check what is on the root directory and what is inside the root directory. Am I saying that well? You want to check what is in the root directory and what is inside the root directory. So the root directory has the following set of folder: HBase, home, TMP, and user. Now you want to run a command that check what is on the root directory and what is inside the content of the root directory. So you go recursively. It's a recursive algorithm. Like you do something, repeat from inside out until when it is completely exhausted. So in order to run that, it's just a single parameter that you add to your code, and that is minus or /r. You add it to your code. This is it. So when you include this /r or this -r in front of your code, it's going to not just list the content of the root directory, is going to list both the content of the root directory and everything inside the content of the root directory. So this is the result. So you can see it listed just everything. It listed just everything that is in that directory. So starting with HBase, these are the contents of HBase. These are all the folders that are inside HBase. After listing all the content of things in HBase, then he went to home/AD user, then went to TMP Hive. So Hive is actually there. Hive is there, but Hive is in TMP location. So you can see Hive is there. Then Hive Hive data warehouse. So Hive is there, HBase is there, and HBase is there. So simply list all the contents of the Hadoop environment. Do you get it? Yes, exactly.
I've done that command.
When you are back to working on the desktop workspace now, you're back to working on the desktop directory.
No, I've always been. This is my present working directory in Linux environment.
Mine is still on the airport.
It does not matter. Yes, it does not matter. It does not mean that all of this stuff that is doing them. It's not doing them now on the desktop. It's running Hadoop command. So it's running it on Hadoop within the Hadoop environment. So I think there are 3 layers that we are on here. From Windows, we have shifted into Linux using VMware. From Linux environment, we are working on Hadoop environment by virtue of the fact that Hadoop framework is already loaded on this particular virtual environment that we are working with. Sure, you understand? So we have gone like 3 layers, we are in.
And then first to move to that, it was the HDFX and the DFX that we used that brought us.
That started it. Sure, you understand? That started it. If you shut it down, if you shut it down, if you stop it, for instance, if you stop it, where is that stop command? There's a stop command. I'm not asking you to stop yours. If I stop mine and go back to run some of this command that we are running, it's going to throw an error message. So I'm shutting it down now. I'm shutting down the name node. I'm stopping the data node, and then I want to go and run those commands again. Then we'll see the error message that is going to come up with.
Linux now. To stop Linux is kill.
To stop Linux is to stop on Linux is kill command. Yes.
This HDFX is the stop DFX.sh.
No, okay, yes, okay, yes. So they look alike. Yes, of course. So now there's a difference between kill and stop. Mm-hmm. When you kill, if it was doing anything and it has not saved that work, you are going to lose it. Because it's like go to tax manager, your Microsoft Word is working. You now went to tax manager and then you shut it down. Once you shut it down, whatever you have not saved on your Microsoft Word is lost. But when you now click exit, when you click exit on Microsoft Word, it will ask you, do you want to save or not? If you say save, yes, it will now carefully save it. After saving it, it will now quickly exit. So when we say stop, it will take time and save all of the work that is done. So your work will be properly saved if you are stopping. But if you go and kill it, your work will not be properly saved. So there's a difference between the two, you get. But both of them will eventually stop the process. But one will save the work, the other one will not save the work.
Can I use kill command on this HDFX?
Yes, you can use kill command to kill everything. You can use kill command.
I can use this stop DFX.
The way I use stop DFS now, when I use stop DFS, it stopped name node, it stopped data node, it stopped secondary name node, it stopped secondary name, it stopped secondary name nodes. Sure, you understand? So it stopped all of this. It stopped all of this. I can use kill command to kill 1, 2, 3. It will also stop it when you kill it. That means it stopped. Sure, you understand? When I kill it, that means it stopped. But the implication in kill is that your work is not safe. The implication here is that it will wait for any process that is running to end and to save the work before it now kills it. It actually kills, but it will wait for it to go through a process before killing.
So this stop now, if I'm on the Linux environment, I can use the same command.
Yeah. Yes. You are in the Linux command. You are in the Linux environment.
And we moved to HDFS.
You are in the Linux environment. You've not moved. When you move into HDFS environment, you'll be using this command. You'll be using this command. In this case, I did not use that command. I just said stop in my Linux environment. Start Hadoop. I'm saying start Hadoop. Start DFN. Oh, they are restarting the computer. The computer is starting by itself. So I'm not saying start. I'm saying so now. So let me generate the error that you're having. So now look at this command. I want to run this command now. See, look up. I want to run this command. I have stopped Hadoop. I've stopped the HDFS file system. Now I want to run this command. When I run it, let's see the error message. So that is why this is the error that I've seen. Connection refused. It's telling you that connection refused. Connection refused. You know why it's refusing connection? My system is not Hadoop is not started on this computer. So when I say start Hadoop, I'm saying that go and run start DFS command. So when you see error message like connection refused, it means that the application, the Hadoop application is down. Can I explain that again or you got it? Correct. Thank you. So I'm starting this. Start. So after starting it, I'll now run that command again. Once I run that command again, you see that it's going to work. Okay, so now if I run this command again now, it will not tell me connection refused. Here it told me connection refused, but now it's running it. It's good to generate. It's when you are learning, it's good that everything is not working. Because when everything is working, then you will not learn. In real life, everything does not always just work like that. So you understand. You get some error, then you fix it, then you move forward. Okay, so the same way we can list the content of the Hadoop file system. We can also, so now we have listed the content of the root directory. We saw that there is HBase, there is home, there is TMP, there is user. We can create a folder. We can create a folder in this home directory. And the folder we want to create in this home directory is, say, let's first of all list the content of home directory. Let's list the content of home directory. So this lists the content of Hadoop home directory. Remember, there is the Linux home directory, but in this case, we are dealing with Hadoop home directory. And the content of this Hadoop home directory is /home/HD user. That is the only content inside. So which means that the only thing inside this /home folder is HD user. Now, I want us to create a folder. We want to make a directory inside /home. So currently, say the user alone that is there. I want us to make another directory, and the name of that directory would be, what was that example that I gave you yesterday when you were going? The list of people that are in the class. So we are making a directory. The name of that directory will be class list. We want to make a directory in this /home, directory, and the name of that directory will be class register. The name of that directory will be class register. That's what we want to create here. So in order to make that directory,
I want to go to desktop, and I've used CD desktop. It's still telling me no such file or directory. I use the CD only user, FT user.
CD dot. CD dot. Why CD dot is working is that you are in airport 2. CD dot will take you to the parent. Here is the parent, which is desktop.
Okay.
If you say CD desktop, what it means is you want to move further. You want to move to the front. Okay, so let me explain. Look, this is the question that you asked so that people at the other side can benefit. CD, so assuming this is where you are, Claire. Assuming this is where you are, you now said CD desktop. CD desktop is only going to move you forward. Assuming if you have desktop in this airport folder, CD desktop will take you into that CD desktop. But in this case, you want to move to something at the back. You see that you say CD dot. That you say CD dot. Or you follow the rule that Tunde taught us yesterday to specify it explicitly. CD /home/HD user/desktop. So this one will take you to desktop.
If that's more.
Then it will work. If you did it,
I didn't space the CD and the /.
So it will work if you did that. Yeah. So it will work if you. This always work. This is what they call absolute referencing. Most of the time it works. That's what they call relative referencing. With that one too, it's faster, but at times you can make mistake with it. So this is what you are trying to do. So it will work. So I want to make directory. I want to make directory on HDFS. So let's look at this. This is HDFS home. The only file that is in it, or the only folder that is in it, is HD user. I want to now create a directory, and the name of that directory is class register. So the command will be, remember, you always start with HDFS, DFS, make directory, then the name of the folder that we want to create is /home, then class register. I'll call it class register. This is the name of the file that I want to create, class register. And when I press enter, it's created. If I go back to list this home command again, if I go and list home again, now you will see HD user and class register. So if I want to create another folder again, say that folder is Hadoop Airport. I want to create another folder that's called Hadoop Airport. This is the command. So Hadoop Airport is created. If I list the content of my /home, I have Hadoop class register. I have class register. I have Hadoop Airport. I have /home/AD user. Now, the next thing I want to do is, remember, we created a file that has a list of all the airlines. I want to copy the content of that airline. I want to copy that airline.txt. I want to copy it and now go and put it on. I'm copying it from Linux environment. I want to go and put it on my Hadoop file system. Remember, Hadoop file system is distributed. So in Linux, if it's on Linux, if that file is say 200 terabytes, if the size of that file is say 1 gigabyte, for instance, 1 gigabyte, yeah, or say 200 gigabytes is the size of that file. If it's on Linux, it's just going to be on one simple location. But if it's on Hadoop, Hadoop will break it down into smaller chunks and spread it and replicate it. And why it's replicating it is that if any of the node fails, it's always going to be available. That's the difference.
So in here now, in this device now, the Linux and the Hadoop are interchanging based on your command.
Yeah, you can interchange, of course. You can move things around, of course. You can move things from Linux to Hadoop and back and forth from the Linux environment. Yes, you can do that. Yes.
Right, that very good. Okay,
so let's say this way.
So, HTML, CSS stuff.
If you ask me that, HTML is not heavy. Okay, you can see 4 gigabytes. So 4 gigabytes is too small. She's using 8 gig. You can see me, I'm using 16 gig.
Just have capacity to take.
Yes, now of course. You can upgrade it. You can upgrade it.
What I mean is
you can buy 8 or put it, or buy another 4 and combine it with the 4 that's already there.
I want to make it 12, so I don't have.
Okay, correct. So you need to check if the slot is available. Yes, it's doable. Okay, so we've made some directories. We've made like 2 additional directories: class register, Hadoop Airport. Now, why I created this directory is because I want to achieve one thing. I want to copy that airline that we created, that list of airlines that we created, I want to copy environment. I want to copy it and now put it on Hadoop environment. That's what I want to do.
Sorry, sir. How do you know that you are Linux environment? What should tell you which environment you're on?
So when I run this command,
once you run the HDFS,
yes,
it means you are in the Hadoop.
Exactly. But if I don't have ZFS in front of my command, it means I'm running the command I'm running it for the Linux environment. Yes. Yes.
We are copying from Linux now to Hadoop.
Yes. And what we want to copy is airline.txt. I just want to wait for Titi to make sure that Titi is on the same page with us.
I got it.
Okay.
I have listed my home class register and then the home HD user when I listed what is in the home.
Okay, nice one. So the next thing we want to do now is to now copy. Let's copy the airline that we created. We want to copy, we created airline.txt. And we created it, where did I save it? I save it on airport folder. So this airport folder, so in airport folder I have airline.txt. So this airline.txt, I want to copy it and I want to copy it. I want to copy it this. I want to copy this airline.txt. I want to copy it from this airport location. I want to copy it and take it into the Hadoop environment that have directory that I've created. So now to do that, the command is again ADFS DFS minus dash copy from local. Copy from local computer. That is from Linux environment.
Linux is the local.
Yes.
Why Hadoop?
So it's either copy from local or copy to local. When you're copying to local, you're copying from Linux to the local environment, which is
copy from.
Yes, you are copying from Linux environment into Hadoop environment. The other one is copy to local. That means you are copying from Hadoop environment to Linux environment. Yeah. So, and what I want to copy from local is airline.txt. Where do I want to move it to? I want to move it to /home. Then what else? What did I create? I created Hadoop Airport. No, Hadoop.
You created the Hadoop Airport.
I created Hadoop Airport.
I don't know when you put that.
So what did you create? You created what? Class register. Did you create class register? So I want to move it to /home/class register. Class register. So I'm moving airline to class register. Then I'll press enter. So it's
From must be uppercase F.
Yes, of course. It's very important. It's case sensitive.
And the copy is lower.
Yes, it's case sensitive. So now, so I've simply copied it. I've copied it to class register. So which means that if I go and list the directory, if I go and list ADFS list, this is the command to list directory. I want to list what is in class register. Class register. If I list what is in class register and I press enter, let's see what's in it. There's only one item found, and that one item found is airline.txt. Don't forget this that we talked about yesterday. Read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute. This is the size of this file. This is the time it was created. This is the date it was created, and this is the time. My own clock is showing. My clock is showing 5 a.m. Let me change my time setting. Okay, so there was not too much bombardment today. I just took it very, very easy. You say? Let's be like this every day. Your PC was working, Abby.
This is hard and Windsor.
Yes.
But we must know this. I always use it in art.
Not necessarily, but it's good to know this. The engineer must know this.
It's not compulsory.
You must know it. You must know it. You must know it. You must know it. So okay, so let's. But really, with what we have practiced today, the rest you can practice them by yourself. The rest you can practice them by yourself. But when next we meet, we'll also try and wrap it up. We'll try and wrap this up so that this is closed once and for all. But please feel free to drop in during the week. I'm going to be. I'm not sure if I'm traveling to Abuja again this week, but I may travel. No, I pray to travel. No. I cancel that. See, it's not me alone. You cannot bind that, Abuja. I cancel that bind. I lose what you are bound.
Exactly.
Going to Abuja.
Thank you. Hello, Smiler. You said something.
I said come to Abuja.
Yes, so yeah, so.
It's not coming. We are kidnapping.
No.
No, there's no traffic over there. Please come here.
Okay, so let's call it a day. Let's call it a day today. Yeah, but I think you have learned a lot. So this is the foundation. This is the foundation for that Hadoop. If anybody asks you things about Hadoop, you are no longer a beginner. You're already stepping from that beginner level into the realm of an intermediate. So, but practice would make it. Practice will make it perfect for you. So next week we'll continue with wherever we have stopped to practice more. More importantly, to practice more, and then we'll go on a break. That it's at least we should take some break for the end of the. And then in January again, we can continue with the next session, So I think you will have enough time to also read up and catch up with some of those that we have learned since we started about 3 weeks ago now. Yeah, this is the 3rd week. Yeah, this is the 3rd week. So once again, I thank you. I thank you all for coming. I'm going to be on standby for anybody that has questions. I'll be ready to take your questions. If there are no questions, I hope to see you next week. Thank you.
How do I go back to my desktop?
Your desktop?
I did see the dollar. Someone command not found. From here down.
Space. Hold on.
Sorry, let me correct it. I
want to follow everything the way it's written here. So when you say use following command to change working directory to bin.
Yes.
What is bin?
Bin is a folder. The folder is bin.
Oh, okay.
So this guy is moving from this location to this location to this location to bin folder.
This USR is that user.
It's a standard directory in Unix environment. The same way you have program files. You see, for Windows, most times you always have Windows folder, you always have user folder. So this user folder is the same as that USR folder. Yeah.
You know when we're doing that, we're using HD user.
Yes.
But here they didn't use HD user.
Yes, it does not matter. They're teaching the same concept.
Oh, so instead of using this USR, I can use HD.
Yes, you can use /home.
Yes,
/HD
exactly.
Exactly.
I don't really need to write local. I just write /home /HD user /home or /home first.
/home /HD user
/bin
/desktop. There may not be bin in your own HD user. Yeah, if there's no folder, if there is no bin folder.
So who I did yesterday, how do I do that?
Okay.
Say that again.
What I worked on yesterday, the airport folder.
Yes.
I've gone to my recent and I'm saying big data logo.png, Java custom, etc.
Say that.
That's what I worked on yesterday. You know, we did airport. There's a folder called airports now.
Yes. You did not say it. Airport 2 airline.tsc. The one you did today.
I didn't save yesterday, so why didn't ask me to save now?
So let's see. Desktop.
I'm trying.
Yeah. So airport. There's nothing inside.
I'm going to show you the assignment you gave to us.
Where did you put it?
The airports.
Where did you save it? You did not save it. You did not save it. Except you save it in another location. Oh yeah. I remember when you logged into your computer. When you logged into your computer.
Okay. So I'm in Yaba now. So I'm in Yaba now. I didn't want training for Yaba. So I'm supposed to be out of here. By the time I will get to that end, we'll reach like 3-4. So I will tell you what I get. That's all, just to test if the water is salty. I think just to test if the water is salty,
So
right?
how was I supposed to say?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello. I said it's just to test if the water is salty, right? Okay. No problem.
WQ is not type WQ.
I did now. The column WQ.
What did you created the list of people in the class?
Yes, and then we did an example using the airline. I did that.
Yes.
Then after that, and I created the list of people in the class.
So how come you cannot find it?
And I used the WQ.
CD dot LS. I can't find it. I don't think there's
I
no
didn't just turn out the names.
LS.
Students list of text.
CD.
I wanted to show you, see if I can get my
Hold on.
It's not there.
It's not there.
So how do I save down?
So you can is that WQ. So you can see if you shut down your computer now. This one that is in this is desktop. CD user CD desktop. So this that you have here, CD airport 2. If you shut down your computer, it's always going to be there.
Okay, before I shut that, I always have to press the WQ.
No, you've already saved. This is already saved. There are two things. You have this here, this is already saved. Even the one that you copy to your Hadoop file system, if you shut down this computer, if you go back there, it's going to be there. It's going to be there.
So
So I don't know what happened that we cannot find what you saved there yesterday.
So I can just close this now
You can close it.
and everything will still be same.
Yes.
I don't want to get confused because this, first of all, I was like, we didn't do, we're using the Linux.
Okay, so you know what I'm laughing? What I'm laughing is, so that stuff is supposed to guide is like teaching. Okay, so it's like teaching arithmetic, for instance. So somebody, the textbook is using 2 plus 2. Then I decided to use 1 plus 2. You understand? Don't get it confused. It's still what they are trying to, the concept they are trying to teach is that plus concept. So in this case, they are trying to teach if there's a folder, how do you change your directory to this particular folder? So if this folder is in this folder is in all of this location, this is how to get to the folder. How do you change your directory to this location? This is the command to run. But we did not use this location to explain in the class. We use desktop to explain in the class. So we now move from /home/AD user to desktop. So you understand? Then we created airport. We also moved into desktop. Do you understand? It's not necessarily.
So this creates a tar file.
Yes, creating a zip file, like a tar file, yes.
Okay, like a zip.
Yes. So that is like you can take everything, you can group everything in a folder into a tar file. And why that is important is that, of course, you know why you zip a file to compress the content of that file and then have it as a single chunk.
So creating a directory is like creating a folder, right?
Yes.
Okay. Folder. So within this folder, I can now create a file.
Yes, which is what we did. We created airports, a folder. Then we now created a file. We now copied that file and put it inside the folder that we created.
I need to know.
So I can just power it off here.
Yeah,
or
power
I
off.
just
Power
press on X. Okay.
off.
Shut down.
Yes, shut down.
So and as it were, we are supposed to have these commands.
You need to,
So
even if you don't have it in your head, you need to know. I don't have all commands in my head. And they even keep. No. So I don't have all the commands in my head. Even some commands that I have run before, some of them I have forgotten them. So I just go and look it up. But I just need to know what operations do I need to perform. Then I go and look up what command would execute that operation that I want to perform.
Like this stuff you're learning now.
Yes.
There's a point that this will be merged with the R.